thank you very much, and thanks to Ralph for such a great introduction as to why we're doing this. So we're part of the PoLAR partnership, and we're representing a larger group of people who are working together on developing cool resources to address this hot topic. We're funded by the National Science Foundation.
Hang on, the slides are kind of,
Yep.
something's wrong with the computer here.
Okay, I'll just continue. So we're funded by the National Science Foundation, and we're working together with a much larger partnership ranging from academic institutions like Columbia University, Barnard College, University of New Hampshire, to educational institutions such as the American Museum of Natural History, and also other partners, for example, the Arctic Expedition cruise operators, and also, let me just move ahead, yeah, and also Games for Change. And both Joey and Tom are from Teachers College. So we've got this nice combination of academic scientists and practitioners working on climate science, but also learning science as well. So what we're doing is we're developing a portfolio of tools, and they're spanning a spectrum. We range in terms of what our tools emphasize, from science to society. Some of the ones that we'll be showing you today are related to more on the science side, and some are more on the societal side. Some are focusing on raising awareness, and others are focusing on informing decisions. And a great example of one that we're doing that is focusing on raising awareness is the Future Coast collaborative storytelling game. You can all participate in this. Just come over to the Future phone booth over at Skirball. What you can do there, and this is a project that's in collaboration with Ken Eklund, who is who was developing World Without Oil. What you can do there is you can both listen to voicemails that have leaked from the future, as well as create your own voicemails. So you can create a range of possibly climate change scenarios. Our tools also are addressing both low-tech and high-tech solutions or approaches. This is because we want to have very portable approaches that can be used in a wide range of settings, but then also to reach people, where they are. And as was just talked about by Ralph, reaching people in the classroom is really important, as well as in public spaces. And so what we'll do here is we'll showcase one of the ones that actually is right in the center of this. It's called EcoChain's Arctic Crisis. It can be used in a classroom, and it can also be used in many public spaces as well.
So hi everyone, I'm Joey Lee. I'm really excited to talk to you about EcoChain's Arctic Crisis. So I want to start off by asking a quick question, and that is, who can tell me what that is? That kind of blurry stuff in the middle there. Any guesses? Okay, someone got it. It's actually 35,000 Pacific walrus. All right, 35,000 Pacific walrus are coming ashore in record numbers. They can't find the sea ice that they need in order to survive. And this is just one example of the dramatic changes that are happening in the Arctic right now, in part due to climate change. And yet, a problem is not enough people really care about these kinds of issues. There's a need for much more positive, more fun, more innovative ways to get to engage the public about issues related to climate change. And so we've developed a multiplayer card game about survival. It involves building food chains, dealing with threats to Arctic ecosystems, and finding ways to protect them. This is EcoChain's Arctic Crisis. We set it with a number of goals. Rather than embodying some of the kinds of values that you might find in a lot of games like competition or materialism or xenophobia, we really want to make a game that's more about stewardship and empathy, and really getting you to care more about the animals and ecosystems. It's also very important to design a game that would be really easy to learn. As Stephanie mentioned, we want to make something that would be both useful in classrooms, but also in casual game situations, both informal and formal education. As far as learning objectives, players learn about various Arctic species, including polar bear, walrus, seals, Arctic cod, as well as learning about predator-prey relationships as they build food webs. And as you play, as you'll see in a moment, people also really start to get a sense of the key role, the importance of sea ice, and how many Arctic species depend on sea ice for their survival. The game also teaches impacts of human actions on the environment, both positive and negative. For example, the various sources of carbon pollution that can melt sea ice, wreaking havoc on food chains, and also some more positive actions that people can take. This game is educational. It's been vetted by a lot of scientists and verified for its scientific accuracy. The content of the game's aligned to next generation science standards, which definitely makes both parents and teachers happy. And we definitely had a lot of skilled playtesters, game designers who made sure that the player experience was a lot of fun. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Tom Toynton, who will talk about the player experience.
So, given the goals of the project, we knew it was going to be really important to be able to find a way to draw players in, people in, like even people who don't normally play games. And so, to the end, we have really beautiful artwork, like unique illustrations that appeal to people of all ages, and it really works. So, from 7 to 70 years old, like players really like to just pick up the cards and look at them and read them. And we've even had people ask us to release the species cards separately as like collectibles. So that really works well. One of the other things that we did is something that I think is really important, really key point in a lot of really good educational games, and that is to create meaningful, powerful, emotional experiences. To really get the players to care about the choices that they make and the effects, the responses in the game. And one example of that in Arctic Crisis is the final event card that ends the game, that has the ability to potentially melt the majority of the ice that's left. And it displaces animals and causes them to migrate to other players' food webs. And if they can't find a home, they'll die. And this happens to some of the most beloved creatures like seals, walruses, and polar bears. And so players will react. They'll be sad or surprised or even a little upset. And those are the experiences that they remember and talk about afterwards, which is really great because that's also an experience that's tied to a core learning objective. So, and it's also an example of the power of games to engage players in empathetic responses, which is something that happens a lot in Arctic Crisis. So now, since time is short, and they say video is worth 1.8 million words. Oh, what the heck happened? I did. Wait, no, it has a player. How about that? There we go.
EcoChain's Arctic Crisis is a game of life and the struggle for survival in a rapidly warming Arctic. Animals like polar bears and walrus are only found in this unique habitat. They've depended on sea ice for thousands of years. As the Arctic warms, the ice is melting from underneath them. How can the animals adapt to the changing ecosystem? What can you do to help protect their habitat? EcoChain's Arctic Crisis is a 2 to 4 player card game of strategy and survival. Players are challenged to protect the Arctic ecosystem from the effects of carbon pollution and rapidly warming temperatures. Players connect animals to build food chains. Choose from a diverse array of animals like polar bears, walruses, ring seals, and narwhals. Events occur that can disrupt or destroy your food web, such as through the melting of sea ice. Loss of sea ice can cause some animals to migrate or die. But you can protect the animals in your food web by playing action cards.
Cool. So it's coming out really soon. We're really excited for this project to actually get out in the hands of people to use it. So check it out, and we'd love to answer any questions about it. Thank you.